Under this scenario, do you think the size of the majority or even the geography of the seats won would impact what kind of deal happens next?
Well, I think the size of the majority will be important. So under the sort of last draft of the withdrawal agreement bill, this is the piece of legislation that needs to be implemented to pass to implement the first phase of Brexit. There would have to be a vote in Parliament both on the negotiating objectives before the UK can start negotiating with the EU on the next phase, but also a vote on the sort of final deal that's agreed before the government can ratify it. So if Boris Johnson does have quite a large majority, then you'd imagine it would give him a bit more flexibility in terms of making different trade-offs during the negotiations, because a small group of Conservative MPs won't be able to sort of hold him to account in the same way that we have seen groups of Conservative MPs play quite an important role on the first phase. So I think that the size will matter, but also the sort of makeup of the Conservative Party. So it really depends on which MPs are returned.
Is your sense, though, that once we're through the withdrawal agreement, if we are through the withdrawal agreement next week, then there is no particular influence over the kind of Brexit that Parliament has. Is that right?
I don't think we can necessarily predict that. I think it really does depend on the result that we see on Friday. I think there are moments when Parliament can decide to assert itself if it wants to, but if the Conservative Party does have a big majority, then that influence has been reduced. And you can imagine that actually, if MPs vote through the withdrawal agreement, then, as Philip says, will have left the EU. And if the government is very determined not to seek an extension to that transition period, there will be a lot of pressure on MPs to approve whatever comes back, particularly those who might be concerned at a sort of no-deal exit on sort of the future relationship at the end of December 2020.
I mean, what I would